So what I'm doing now is I set up this little laser, and I set it at an angle so that it's level with the car, I guess, level with the body of the car. So it's going down this piece of trim all at the same height. That trim is parallel with this, and that vertical line goes right through the center of the hub. So what I'm going to do now is measure off that vertical line to each side. So I'm going to measure from here to here and from here to here. And then those two measurements, I got to split the difference. So I either got to add them and do the median of them, or the average, or I don't know how that works. I forget what the word terminology is for it. But basically what I'm going to do is figure out how much of this I need to cut out so that when it gets welded into the front of the other side, it will be an even wheel well. I don't want to cut out, like if this is, let's say this is 22 inches to there, I don't want to go 22 inches to here, because then I'll have a huge back spot when I weld the one in for the front. So I want to split the difference and only cut out like, half of that or whatever it is. So that's the plan. I'm using that laser so it's dead on with the body, and should turn out pretty good, I think. We'll see. I'm going to use the plasma to cut it, and then I'm going to weld it in. So we'll see what happens. So I've measured, and it's like 28 inches from this line to that corner edge. And then from this line over here, what was it? I don't recall, like 14 or something. Yeah, it's like roughly 14. So 28 minus 14 is 14. Half of that is 7. Basically what I need to do is cut out 7 inches from this side and then weld it on the front side of the other one. What I'm going to do is figure out over here on cardboard what I actually need for that cutout to weld in there. So that way I don't cut too much of this out. And if I cut lower, I can just add this lip back into it, or at least this lip. So if it gets cut a little bit low, I can take my vice grips and just bend it and kind of give some rigidity to it. I could also weld some like ready rod or something to the back side of it. Because right now there's not much rigidity there, which there doesn't need to be. I just don't want the vibration. This car's already going to be very vibration-y and loud, so the more vibrations we can take out of it, the quieter it's going to ride. So yeah, I'm going to cut 7 inches out of one side first, make sure it works before I cut the other one, and then should be good. I think I'll cut the other side out first so that I can weld this side in, and that way if I make any problems with the cut, it'll be on the passenger side and I won't see it all the time. So I've used a piece of cardboard. I cut it to the shape of the arch there, and then I actually measured it or formed it and cut it on the other side, and I made sure it fit this side as well. And now I'm going to basically measure 7 inches from here to wherever it lines up at and put that mark right there, and then I'll do my cutting. I may have to take the wheels off for this because the wheels stick out so far. They're kind of in my way, so I think I'm going to do that real quick. And I don't want to because it's kind of a pain with those lug nuts, but I think I need to do it right. Because if I... Well, actually, I could just do my mark, and as long as I have this much of the upper... Yeah, I don't have to take the wheel off. I'll just leave. I need this straight edge so that it's straight across here. And then as long as I do my 7 inches and then basically just cut it out, it should be fine. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I can mark out my cut. I just did some measuring, and this side is 28.5 to there and like 13 to there, whereas the other side was like 28 and 14. So somehow, either the body is shifted on the car, or they didn't cut the wheel well out exactly to begin with. So I'm gonna split the difference, I guess. I'm glad I measured that, because otherwise it'd be perfect on one side and off on the other side. So I'm gonna try to make it off on both sides. I guess I could do a bunch of measuring on the car, see actually if they got the wheel well in the wrong spot or something. It's very possible. I don't know how these bodies were formed back in the day, but I would assume a lot of it was done by hand. And yeah, I don't know.
I've never seen this part before.
I'm not using laser over here too, though. Maybe I should go set the laser for over here. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. That's what I'll do, is I'll set the laser and make sure before I do any cutting. Okay, so it's like 15 something between the two, like 15 and a quarter. So we're just gonna do like 7.5 of a cutout instead of 7, which will give us a little bit more for the front anyway. So I think it'll be fine. Either way, it's gonna look fine enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out now. Well, I got it cut out with the plasma cutter. Don't look too bad from afar. I'm gonna bend this up in there, or add something here. It's definitely a little bit looser, but not much. It's more loose down here than anything. So I'd like to add a brace or just some sort of rod on the back of it and weld it in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it welded in on the front side, on the other side. Well, I think it looks better in theory than it does in real life, but it don't reach down all the way. I might add a little extension to it at some point. Or I might add a longer piece of chrome on the bottom. I don't know yet. Or I might just leave it. For now, I'm just gonna leave it. I gotta cut this side out and weld it on the other side. I think the gap's gonna be pretty good. From afar, it's gonna look, it's gonna look fine. I mean, it's whatever. I'm over it. I don't really care either way. I just want it to be on the road. So it'll be a nice little conversation starter. Some hater bait. Anyway, I'm gonna get to cutting this side out and then take the welder to the other side and weld it in. There she is, finished. I'm pretty happy with that. Lines out pretty good. I think a mud flap will look really good on the back of that. Like a big old 12-inch wide mud flap. Yeah, I'm good with that. It's gonna work. It's not gonna rub. It might rub up top, but I can bend that out, cut it out if I have to, whatever. So yeah, we're good with that. This side done as well. Worked out pretty good. So I think for now I'm gonna bend up these and then see how it rides. Maybe throw a trailer on it and see how low I can get it to go before it rubs, and that way I'll know how much travel I need, I guess. Might have to run smaller tires at some point. I'm running 305s. Yeah, 305 55R20s. I might have to run like a 285 60 R20. That'd be a little bit shorter, but not a whole lot shorter. So maybe I'll just, I don't know, maybe I'll find some 18s and run a smaller tire. But for now, this is what I'm gonna run, whether it rubs or not, because there won't be much weight on it right now. I don't plan on pulling the trailer with it immediately. I might pull a jet ski down there with it, but I don't know. I'm gonna clean up these just a little bit with the grinder, and then get my mud flap bracket somehow probably bolted to the frame. I don't know. Be nice to use those 2 bolt holes, or maybe those 2 down there. Actually, those are gonna interfere with the leaf spring, so might be able to use those 2 because they're on both sides. They're in a different spot on the other side, but they're on both sides. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely want a mud flap though. Maybe I'll just bolt it right to the top of the frame rail. It kind of comes straight out across, and then the bracket will stay in behind here, and then just the flap will be down. That'd be kind of cool. You won't see any hardware to it. Because there is a pretty good sized bolt there, or hole there, from the where the bed bolts go through. So, man, can't kick this thing. Anyway, it's I think that'd look good. Have a big old flap hanging there. We'll see. It'd keep me from getting at least one ticket. So, well, for now, that's done. Again, it's shorter than this, but from up top, it doesn't look too bad. And for now, we're just gonna keep the trim there. I've got a guy that wants to buy that trim, but he hasn't made an offer. He wants me to name a price, and I don't know what it's worth. I see him on eBay going for like 500 and some bucks, but I don't know if it's worth that to him, and I don't know. I would like to run a longer piece of trim that kind of hides this little gap, but I can't really find anything that's longer. Need to find like a big old Cadillac with a rocker trim and just stick her on there. I'd even be okay with getting a taller rocker trim, honestly. Cover up some of that rust. But I kind of like the rust too, so I don't know. I don't really care either way. I could just take the trim off and have no trim down there, but it kind of makes the car, because you got trim there, trim there, trim there, trim there, chrome handles, trim all the way around the windows, more trim right there, trim on the trunk, trim on all the lights, trim around the back window. It's got a lot of chrome on it, so I kind of like keeping all the chrome, and just it kind of pops with the chrome wheels, you know. So anyway, if I took all the trim off, the problem is there's holes behind it. But if I took all the trim off, I could run black wheels, and this thing will look pretty cool too. But for now, we're just gonna run these. These are 20 by 10, negative 24 offset, I believe. They don't stick out super far. I had 20 by 12s on, and they stuck out another 2 inches or so, because they're negative 44. I guess it's only stuck out another inch maybe, but they were nuts. And they look cool, but I don't think they would clear the front. So I bought these instead and sold the 20 by 12s. Anyway, I'm gonna do the bumpers now.